all heard that vamp before, that rhythm, those chords together before in a number of different rock songs, a number of different blues songs. They get mixed together all different ways. You know, there are three common chords: E, G major, and A major. It's part of why they made up so many early rock songs, is because these are three chords that most guitar players learn pretty early on in their guitar learning career. So anyway, these three chords are really all major chords. And a lot of times that's how the vamp's played. Sometimes it's not played with full chords. Sometimes it's just played with like the power chord, the root and the fifth. Sometimes it's played with part power chord and just a note for the G and an A for the chord. Sometimes it's all mixed together as a mishmash of major, note, chord, note, power chord. So what do you do with this if you have to solo over it, if you have to make up a melody, or if you have to write a song? Well, you got a problem, because these three major chords don't fit in one major scale. They could be in two different major scales. You could be in the key of E for your E chord and your A chord, and then in the key of G for your G chord. Or you could do it this way too and say E is its own key and G is the fourth and A is the fifth in the key of D. Any way you do it, you're breaking it down into two major keys. Well, being guitar players, especially rock and blues guitar players, that's a lot of stuff to think about. So we like to figure out more what's the main sound and then find ways to play over that sound. Well, in these rhythms I've showed you, I think it's pretty obvious that the sound, the main sound, regardless of what type of chords go under it, is the E itself. So how do you go about figuring this out? Well, the first thing you do is you get rid of the chords and you just look at what's happening. The notes are going, or, which happen to be the first three notes of an E minor pentatonic scale. So that's a good place to start, since the root movement play the pentatonic scale over it. The next thing that comes to my mind when I hear this progression is, well, the main sound is pretty majory off of the E. So regardless of what comes after it, I'm hearing that major sound. The easiest way to outline that major sound is to use the E major pentatonic scale. I'll start on E here. The next two ways I'm going to show you are a stretch. but they work. And it's going to be easier to demonstrate with a backing track on, but I'm going to tell you what they are first, like this. So this sound, depending how that progression's made up, or maybe even not, this E major chord is really functioning in my ear a lot in this groove as an E7 chord. Even when you take it away and just do the power chord, you can still hear that. So, if the main sound is now an E7 chord, the mode you're supposed to play against E7 is E mixolydian. And lastly, because it's just fun and it's theoretically close to being correct if you look at the three chords as the key of A, and then this is 4 and 5. The main sound being E, if G is 4 and A is 5, puts us in the key of D. The E sound in the key of D is off of the 2 chord. So you can push in there the E Dorian scale, and it'll sound really pretty cool too. And again, when I put on backing track and do it and show it to you an octave higher, you'll hear it a little different. But down here, it would be something like... That was wrong note, but so there are my 4 ideas: E minor pentatonic, E major pentatonic, E mixolydian, and E Dorian, because the root movement is out of the minor pentatonic, the main sound is an E major chord. Another sound that hits your ear, depending how it's played or what you're thinking, is E mixolydian, or E7, which gives you mixolydian. And the last way is the, are really in the key of, gives you the E Dorian. So here goes your backing track. Here go the 4 examples. I'll yell out as I'm switching. hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please subscribe if you haven't, and thank you for listening.